Are there aspects to your day that you feel as if you're just, checking the box? Do you ever strive to reach out of your comfort zone, become uncomfortable, and level up? Privileged to be your host, this is Jason Wabick. Now, let's uncheck the box. My friends, another great day to everybody out there. Once again, my name is Jason Wabick, host of the Uncheck the Box podcast, where today we continue our journey to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be. Today's topic, emotional contagion, was actually inspired by an article that I was reading, and I'm going to quote a few lines from it. The article was written by a website called healthline.com. And it really was based off of this principle that emotion can be transferred from one person to the next. And I found it very fascinating. And I remember actually what first came to mind was this movie that I saw, it was probably 10, 15 years ago. But it starred Adam Sandler and Jack Nicholson, titled Anger Management. Some of you may have remembered watching it. But you know, my friends, what I remember feeling when watching this movie is Jack Nicholson's character really does a great job at poking Adam Sandler's character and creating anger. And Adam Sandler's character really tried to fight off being angry, but in a lot of points just could not resist temptation. And you know, I remember as a member of the audience watching this movie, I remember being angry myself. I remember feeling inside me, man, I just got so angry at Jack Nicholson's character as well, too. And obviously, Hollywood does a great job at going above and beyond, right? But my friends, you know, that just builds a case that actually emotion can be transferred from one person to the next. And if we're not careful, we could infect our surroundings, or we could be infected. So today, I wanted to break down, first and foremost, what is emotional contagion and how it happens. I want to go through a few ways that we can fight off negative emotions. And then lastly, a few ways that we can also help ourselves not impact our surroundings with negative emotion. So quoting that article I was reading, it stated, "Misery loves company, right? You've probably experienced the truth behind this saying firsthand by seeking out a sad song when feeling down, or venting to a loved one when angry or upset. Things can work the other way too. Hearing a mournful song when you're having a great day can quickly change your mood. If you're the one offering a listening ear, you might feel sad or depressed upon hearing about your friend's troubles. How does this happen? Can emotions really spread like a cold or the flu? Actually, yes. Researchers call it emotional contagion. It happens when you mimic, usually without conscious effort, the emotions and expressions of people around you." End quote. And boy, I'll tell you, a lot of what was just written there and what I read absolutely resonated with me. And it's so easy to do. And I think the one thing that stuck out was it happens subconsciously. And so emotional contagion is the phenomenon of having one person's emotions and related behaviors directly trigger similar emotions and behaviors in other people. Emotions can be shared across individuals in many different ways, both implicitly or explicitly. You know, look at it this way. It's like a yawn, right? You know, when we yawn, somebody else will yawn. A good chance somebody else will yawn in reaction to us yawning. It's contagious, right? The only difference is a yawn is just a moment in time, and when it comes, it goes, it passes. With our emotions, we have the potential to carry and hold on to that emotion, perhaps bringing it home with us, should I say, and infecting people at home. Or maybe it starts at home and then we go to work and then we infect other people at work. You know, negative emotion is most contagious, but happiness is also infectious as well. And we're going to talk about, again, both ways and how we can spread more happiness and maybe combat more of the negative. I see this on a regular basis. As I shared with you in multiple episodes, I primarily coach, mentor, and train professionals. And I see this happen quite a bit where I'll hold a training session and I'll get a lot of great comments, great feedback. I'm an energetic person. I love delivering energy. I'm a passionate person. And maybe one of my gifts is I'm able to transfer that energy and that positivity, in a grander scale and essentially it's somewhat infectious and contagious, right? So I get some professionals who get really excited and they come up to me and they're like, man, everything you said really resonated. I'm going to go back. This is a new lease on life. I'm going to make some changes and this is so great, right? And then maybe in some cases I find that, it just motivation wears off. And that is a known thing. Somebody going to see a trainer or watching a motivational video, motivation is just temporary and it eventually wears off. And a good chance is because when they go back to their environment, that environment is a different emotion. It has a different feeling to it, right? And it also has multiple people in that environment, and we're constantly exchanging emotions back and forth. So I see this on a pretty regular basis as to, how environments and sceneries do affect the people that I work with on a daily basis. So how does this happen? So there is this thing called mimicry, and I'm going to read back from that article. It says, in order to mimic someone's emotions, you have to first recognize the emotion. Emotional cues are often subtle, so you're not likely to always be conscious of this realization. Generally, mimicry happens through body language. Boy, isn't that so true? When talking to a friend, for example, you might begin unconsciously copying their pose, their gestures, or their facial expressions. If you begin the conversation with some anxiety or distress, okay, but if your friend's face seems relaxed or open, your own expression may relax as well. Mimicry can help you relate to others by understanding their experience. So it's a key aspect of social interaction, but it's just one part of the process of emotional contagion. And I'll tell you, that is so true. A lot of times, we're talking with somebody and we tend to mimic their gestures. And I think it comes natural, right? If somebody is in a melancholy type of mood, we're not naturally happy-go-lucky in response to them, My friends, anxiety and excitement are closely attached, and mindset will help us dictate which way we will lean. So we have to be careful because, like I said, like this article said, it happens unconsciously. So we just have to quickly, as soon as we possibly realize that we are mimicking, we have to take control. Because another thing that happens is the contagion part. Mimicking an emotion typically evokes that emotion in you, and it then becomes part of your own experience. Then you begin to express it or relate it to others in the same way, and the process of contagion is complete. So you now take on that emotion and you bring that into your space in other parts of your day, and then you are now contagious and obviously spreading that emotion that you took on. Interesting. I found that so fascinating. So what are a few ways that we can fight off these negative emotions, knowing that they're going to come to us, okay? And subconsciously we're going to receive them. But once we realize that we have now taken that on, what are some ways that we can kind of help fight them off? And I'm going to use an example of a sales professional that I work with, and I'm not going to name names, but there's a good chance she's listening to this episode right now. And I'll tell you what, she's extremely inspirational. Her positive mindset, her upbeat, infectious personality is really tangible. Every single day every single time I'm in her presence, I can't help but to get wrapped up into her emotion of positivity. and her just her outlook on life and her day and how her day is going. And I remember I saw something very rare. She was working with a client that was extremely difficult and maybe unreasonable in the context of what was taking place. And she really took on that emotion. She took on the emotion of that client. And I saw a different person in her. But you know what? One thing that was extremely impressive. She removed herself from the situation, went off, regrouped, came back the same person that she was prior to, showing very well that she received that negative emotion from the client, very short term was transformed with negativity, but that bounced back and then became that beacon of positivity that she normally is. So here again, a couple ways that we can fight off negative emotion. And I just mentioned one of them, create a happy environment. This same salesperson, right? She creates a happy environment every single day. In her workspace, her office is her sanctuary. She has pictures and decorations and, maybe it's putting plants, having music that oozes positivity, right? If you feel as if you are catching the blues, then your environment can help you bring yourself out of that. So make sure that you're in a great space that promotes the type of mindset that you want to sustain for your entire day. Number 2, choose the people you hang around. Now, easier said than done. When we go to work, right, we can't choose our people, but maybe we have 1 or 2 people that we know that they are our trusted accountability when it comes to positivity, right? Who can you trust to give you a boost when you're down? Many times people feel better after talking to those people. Again, going back to what I do, when I'm mentoring people and I find that I'm doing one-on-one coaching sessions, a lot of times people say, I always feel better after talking to you. You always bring me back up. You always are that person that promotes positivity, and I feel so much better. Well, it's because, again, I'm now transferring my positive emotion over to that person. But I promise you this, my friends, nobody is perfect, okay? You're not going to fight off negativity. It's going to find you. And I absolutely have weak moments and fall into temptation of reacting to the negative, okay? But a lot of times, again, when I'm coaching, I have to be mindful that I am that beacon of positivity. So again, surround your people or have a few people in your life that you entrust to help you bring you out of that negative mindset. Number 3, emotionally disconnect, okay? It starts with you recognizing that you are in the process of a shift. We mentioned that a few minutes ago, okay? So you recognize that there's a shift happening and it happens subconsciously without you really knowing. It's not easy to do and it takes time to train, okay? But you, my friends, are not going to change other people. You may try to inspire other people, but you're not going to change them. It's up to that other person to change themselves if they feel led to do so. You have to be able to disconnect and be confident with your own emotions, okay? Let others have their moods and then allow yourself to have the one that you want. You, my friends, have control to choose negative or positive. And know that whichever one you choose, that you possibly infect the others. In fact, I'm going to say this, not possibly, you definitely infect others with whatever you are putting out there into the world. Remember, it's our choice. And number 4, not limited to, of course, offer positivity when you can. That's the best way to fight off the negative is choosing positive. When you recognize you're in a negative space, choose the positive. You may not feel negative right away. It sneaks up on you, my friends, so just beware. Look over your shoulder. It's coming. It's going to find you. Okay? You can't get a vaccine to prevent this. You just can't. Okay? Kind of an appropriate analogy, right? But you can start to recognize it and then change your reaction. Again, easier said than done, but it starts out with recognizing and then you making the conscious decision to choose positivity. Now that we've played offense, let's play defense a little bit here in ways that we can be cognizant that we are potentially infecting other people when negative. Again, we're not going to be able to avoid the negative. So in those low moments that we realize we have taken on the negative emotion from somebody else or some other people or an environment, what are ways that we can make sure we're not infecting others? And in order to really address this, I wanted to really recap episode 5 where we talked about being part of annoying people. We talked about, what it's like to be annoyed or to do the annoying, right? So you are never wrong with how you feel, everybody. And we have to stop blaming others for how we feel. So the biggest thing is that we're in control of our own negativity. Your feelings are how you are perceiving the situation to be and how you're processing it. Okay? It's our choice whether to be irritated or not. If you don't think that is, then the brain will just go on with what they're conditioned to do. So number 1, is take better care of ourselves. Getting good sleep, regular exercise, regular brain maintenance, right? Mindfulness, gratitude, breathing, things like that we've talked about, right? So taking care of ourselves and getting good sleep, exercise routine will help us to be less irritable. Some of those lack of sleep, lack of exercise could put us in a higher irritable state. Gain perspective. Look at the larger picture, my friends. We have our health, we have employment in a lot of our cases, right? So look at the bigger picture. And usually we're annoyed at the little things. So if we're grateful for things that we have, again, like health, employment, having a roof over our heads, having food, those big things that sometimes we make little, and we make the little things way too big. So gain perspective will be a way that you can fight off negative. Another one, change out of victim mode. I have said it a couple of times. Are you the victim or the victor? Either way, you're right. It's our choice. Okay? So don't continue to be the victim. Look at it from this perspective. The person that is emotionally transferring negativity, maybe that person is going through some things in their life. Maybe a separation, an illness of their own, an illness of a loved one, a death of a loved one. So we look at it as maybe that person's going through some things, and we want to make sure we're the support, the beacon of positivity. So my friends, yes, change from being the victim, be the victor. It is your choice. Make the right one. Lastly, live in the now, not the past, not the future. This moment is the only moment that matters right now. It creates our future. And if the right now is negative, then maybe, my friends, it's time, again, appropriate analogy, to quarantine yourself until you feel ready to infuse that positivity, right? Go back into your office, into that positive space that, you can take some time, reassess your current situation, listen to some music, maybe phone a friend. Again, quarantining yourself in the right now, if it is negative, will bounce you back quickly so you can go out there and do more good and to help other people. My friends, great topic today. I don't know about you, but I learned a lot, and hopefully I shared some things that can also help you and, quite frankly, spread some more positivity. There's a lot of good to do out there. My friends, be that positive beacon. Be that rock that people need out there, because there is plenty of negative, and there's nothing we're going to do to change that. We're not going to change people. We're not going to infect everybody with positivity, but we can certainly try. My friends, thanks again for joining me today. Have a phenomenal rest of your day, an even better rest of your week, and we'll see you next time.